Going on, y'all? It's Masterpiece. Y'all already know what it is. I'm here to talk to you about sex magic and the state of the oppressed. Now, isn't it funny how whenever you talk to somebody, they're in general knowledge that there is a conspiracy or there is a cabal or there's a select few running or controlling the many. That's general knowledge, you know. Uh, you speak to your brother, your sister, you talk to them about what's going on in the government, and you know nowadays everybody's kind of aware. Also, people are aware of the state of the plight and the state of oppression that the general masses are in, especially Africans. And but yet there seems to be no real drive or real resolve to our issues. And that is because the sex magic is so strong. Now, sexual energy is creative energy, and keyword creative. So, when you orgasm or when you are in a sexual state of mind and you are heightening that vibration, you manifest quicker or more potently what it is that you intend. For example, if you have a sexual encounter with your spouse or even with yourself or with just a random hookup, whatever's on your mind will intensify. And whatever you are intending to create, whether consciously or subconsciously, will manifest with more potency and more quickness, more. It'll be made more readily manifested because of the heightened vibrations. Now, this is very, very key because the elite, you know, the few, the cabal, they are um, kidnapping our kids, kidnapping ladies, kidnapping men, and not only are they performing uh, sex magic on them, but they are also spilling their blood. And we know that the desire lies in the blood. Okay, so the blood, it's red, relates to your root chakra. It is it sustains you. Your blood flow sustains you. So and it comes from, like in my check my other videos, you do not have a soul. Your blood comes from the material for your blood comes from the ethers and comes into you through your lower spinal cord, and it turns into, it titrates into blood. Okay, it condenses down into your blood. So whatever you are putting out comes back to you and then manifests within you through your blood. And when you spill that blood, that intent is now uh, on the paper, usually with the intention written on it, and it's manifested quicker. So if you are torturing and raping young babies, and the younger you are, the more pure your body is, so the more pure your blood is, so the more um, the easier it is to align your will with the frequency of the manifestation, the manifesting materials. So the manifesting materials are your will, your uh, your intent, your desires, the ether, and all of these work together to uh, appear before your eyes. There's more in the creation of things than the created. So just stay with me, okay? So we have millions, billions of people in the world who are in one form or another oppressed and downtrodden. And we know that there is only a few in power. Even when you look at it on a smaller scale, when you're in a country and you're seeing you know the politicians, the judges, the lawyers, the police, they're all at one strata, and it's just like everybody else. And then you have the rich and the middle and the poor. Even in that sense, you have the majority knowing that there is only a few people in the place of power or control, and making the laws and making the decisions on who lives and who dies, who goes to jail and whatnot, tax rates, all that. Yet and still, generation after generation, we continue to be oppressed. And the elite are simply performing sex magic, which is sexual acts upon the youth, and spilling their blood. Usually forced penetration spills the blood anyway, but the cutting, the paddling, the prodding, all of these things increase blood flow. The adrenaline increases the blood flow. So now you have sex mixed with blood. And if it's a woman and they're doing this while she's in her menses, her menstruation cycle is flowing, the manifestation abilities increase. They quantify like tenfold, because the menstrual blood is that divine sustaining blood. It's so potent because it's not clean, because there's a lot of dead material from the uterus, but it is very potent because it did have the ingredients needed to create another life. So when that tiny life is aborted through the process of menstruation, the code for the intent is overridden with the sex magic and these maleficent intents. Malevolent, I think I meant. I think I said maleficent, but I meant malevolent. But there's benevolent and malevolent. So we must understand that it's not like we have to use sex magic. We don't have to be doing this. There's other ways, but a very simple way of liberating the people, liberating the oppressed, is to set your intent accordingly in times of desire, passion, lust. Whenever you pleasure your mate, talk to them about it. Maybe set up a time, a certain, you know what I mean? Like, have that sporadic wake up sex, whatever, that make up sex, whatever. But also, there are certain times that you should come together with your partner and sit down and say, hey, look, like, we got to manifest this. This is what we got to manifest. You know what I'm saying? Liberation, freedom, wealth, health, intelligence. And then proceed to do your business with that intent in your mind, especially when you orgasm. And if you keep that orgasm in, the strength, the potency behind your intent quantifies as well. Man, this is so deep. It's so much to cover, but the elite are using sex magic mixed with blood over intent to sustain their position of power and control and this illusion. And we don't have to be doing this in a negative way where we're kidnapping children and whatever. Remember, we repopulate the earth. Our seed is very potent. Our woman's womb is very potent. So we don't have to steal others in order to bring about change, revolution, a new world. Whereas the elite, their birth rate is in decline. They can't give birth naturally, successfully 100% of the time, 50% of the time even. So not only are all these new technologies being made in order for higher class women to breed, because it is such a very, very expensive process, but they are also having to kidnap others, other children from other nation, whose blood is more potent. Typically O negative, a lot of O negative blood amongst the original people. And since it can be received from anybody, they receive that blood, override it with their intent, and they are dominating the world with it through that means and many other means. You know, media, taxes, war, all this stuff. But sex magic and blood over intent is something that they are using on us on a daily basis. And woman, when you are mensing, please start thinking of start imagining what a liberated peoples looks like, what a liberated world looks like, what a world free of oppression looks like. Okay? And men, when you're getting off, keep this in mind as well. And if you pleasure yourself, which is not the best thing to do for your body or for your higher awareness, keep this in mind. If you're going to do that, keep this in mind. Keep your intent in mind. If you're just watching porno and you're thinking about being in the man's position, you're thinking about doing that girl, that reality is so distraught. It's so far from your current reality that it's very hard to manifest yourself in LA, in Hollywood or whatever, with these porn stars you're lusting over. But it is easier to, it is more in alignment and more readily available to intend to bring about self-awareness, dietary changes, lifestyle changes, meeting better future mates, raising great children, advanced children, your extended family's children growing up strong. These things are in more immediate alignment. If you're gonna manifest something to come to you, it's easier for it to be in your immediate surroundings. You know what I mean? Liberation for yourself, which will extend to the liberation for everybody that you know, and so on and so forth. But if you're desiring something like, Nibiru to come to you, that's so far outside of your immediate, surroundings. If you have telekinesis and you can move things with your mind, it's easier to move a stone that's right in front of you than a stone that's in China if you're living in North America. So think about, start small, and you'll build up your potency. Start small. Look up sex magic, and don't look it up with a negative, vile view or standpoint or intention. Look it up in a positive way of how we can change our situation, how you can change your personal situation. And if we each do this one by one, we'll be that much closer to liberation. So the Cabal are using sex magic and blood over intent to keep control over us, and I'm saying that we can use that to get out of their control. Okay? Alright, yo. Masterpiece. Eat to live.